Hi, people. Something else that I needed to discuss. This video was kind of an extension to my mind-delving article and its related content, video-wise, or attached content or linked content video-wise. Something that the practitioners are not aware of or that they don't know is that you can also measure, they might be aware of it, but most of them aren't, except, well, at the very least, not the way I'm going to explain it. You can measure without just using conventional readings like astrology or tarot card readings or anything like that. You can spiritually measure like the energy level of any of your workings in terms of how things are going and whatnot. Um, Generally speaking, in kind of like a mathematical setting. For example, the altar of a spirit, its energy can be measured. You want to see that, hey, how are things going? How strong is my altar? How potent is it in terms of the way I configured it towards an objective or towards a working, regardless of what that may be. Example is, for example, you have an altar to the Goetic spirit Gramarye, so the spirit from the Goetia Gramarye, or Grimoire. And it's a love-based working. You essentially were looking to bring someone into your life romantically. Then you can measure the spirit of the energy of that spirit's altar. In this case, Gramarye's altar, obviously. And generally speaking, the guidelines are quite simple. You simply use a basic mathematical setting of between a scale of 0 and 10 or 0 and 100. That way you can measure how potent stuff is. So you're essentially simply going like, show me how strong the altar of Gramarye is, for example, how strong Gramarye's altar is, like I said, and then show me between a scale of 0 and 100% expressed in percentages. And you'll see, for example, 45%, 55%. That way you have a detailed, accurate mathematical equation-based inclination or idea or metric in terms of how strong your altar is, and therefore you can make adjustments if need be, rather than just, leave the altar be and then just wait for results or just going through the motions. So again, the devil lies in the details, so it pays to be as detailed as possible. Same thing applies again with mind delving. You're reading someone's mind or similar, and you want to know that, hey, for example, can't really come up with a great example. You like a girl, you're a guy, you like a girl, or vice versa, you're a girl, you like a guy, and you want to know, hey, how this guy's feelings? Does he have feelings for me? And if so, how strong are they? Like on a scale of 0 to 10. And then you'll see, for example, that feelings are a 6 currently on a scale of 0 to 10. So you can see how strongly the person, you can measure that way spiritually, how strong the person, at least in that moment or at that time in which you ask that question, how strong the person feels about you. And it just goes on like that. Any magical implement you're using or a cult-based implement, you can measure their spiritual power at a glance, which is more practical and convenient than for every little thing having to go through a reading or to do a reading on, for example, like you've got 5 projects going and then you're going to cover all 5 of them. With readings, it can be quite tedious, especially the aforementioned readings, the ones that I mentioned in the beginning. Because with astrology, obviously, you need a cool down. You'll be able to do like 1 at most 2 readings a day, and you'll be tired mentally. You'll feel mentally drained. With astrology, with tarot card readings, you'll the problem is that it's oversimplified. You'll get like a general outline. It's great if that's all you need, no problem. But even then, doing 5 readings a day, if you're the average practitioner, so or 5 readings for all of your things individually, your aforementioned workings, it's going to it might wear you down, and as a result it also increases the likelihood of the reading being inaccurate. Obviously there is no such thing as being inaccurate, but things won't be valid anymore. The reading will have be in danger of becoming invalid due to fatigue, mental fatigue. um, I want to say similar to a clock, for example, if you want to give a metaphor, similar to a clock that runs on batteries. When the batteries start running dry, not empty yet, but when they're running dry or in danger of doing so, then obviously the clock is going to lag and it's going to like fall behind and it just goes on. Um, This is much more practical, provided that you can mind delve and you can simply just read spiritual energy and stuff like that. No differently than looking something up through a search engine like Google or Yahoo or anything like that, or Bing, you name it. The same way that you Google something, you know how the process of Googling works, as in, hey, I Google something, you use logic, common sense, reason. You see, for example, that, okay, I want to know how deep is the Atlantic Ocean. You see that, hey, at its deepest point, it's this and this and that. You can make an accurate assessment based on what you know, what you were looking up, that, yeah, no, it's correct. It has to be correct. Like you're 99% sure it's correct, then yeah, that will be the case. But on rare occasion, you Google something and then you'll see that, hey, it doesn't add up. Yeah, that's because, again, generally speaking, Google takes stuff from from a source, a particular source. You ask for the weather, they'll take it from um, a meteorology department's website in relation to your location, etc., etc. You name it. They'll simply choose overall the most practical outlet or practical source based on your conditions and circumstances, one of them being your physical location, and then it gets relayed back to you, the information. My point is that, again, like 9.9 out of 10 times, Googling works for anyone. Like searching something up on the internet works for anyone. You simply coupled with the fact that you use common sense and reason and whatnot, then yeah, you're not just taking what you see at blindly accepting what you see or just seeing it as fact right away. All things considered, then you can make up an accurate, or you can come to an accurate conclusion or draw one. And again, almost always will it be right. Only one in like a thousand or thousands of times will, despite all every hypothetical or proverbial arrow pointing in that direction, and there are like 100 arrows, it still turns out that for whatever reason, highly exceptional, astronomically low reason, you were proverbially supposed to go to the left rather than to the right, despite the fact that, despite all the aforementioned arrows pointing to the right. That's my point. That's what I'm getting at. So yeah, it's the same thing. It's like the spiritual version of Google. You want to know something, you can simply go like, okay, let me know what this and that is, etc., etc. But again, you need to go in the same, you need to use the same logic and or modus operandi that I just outlined. You need to use common sense and reason. Like, for example, just a simple example, I was seeing someone, I had a girlfriend, etc., and I simply want to see, for example, what my girlfriend is, if my girlfriend is cheating on me, etc., etc. I do my thing, mind delving, and I see that my girlfriend has been cheating on me, and I see the person, and it just goes on like that. Obviously, I'm not just going to take it at face value. I'm going to look at everything as in, hey, has my girlfriend's behavior changed? Is there anything different about her? Have I seen anything? Her like hogging her phone, going like this, anything along those lines, like anything. Does she, is there anything out of the ordinary? If I don't see something, then again, you need to go get to the bottom of things. I'm going to ask, like, okay, what are there any thingies? Are there any oddities that she's showcasing in terms of behavior that serves as a trademark for me to to recognize the who, the where, the what, the why, and the how. Give me all the relevant information as a means of me not only confirming that she's cheating on me, but that she's also anything that might be of interest of me. And then you're going to get like maximum levels of information. Um, and then coupled with logic and reason, again, you either hire a PI if you deem it worth the trouble, or you go through her phone, although that might be seen as an invasion of privacy. But in this case, honestly, I wouldn't. Again, I'm just speculating here. I'm just an example. I'm not saying you should do that. You should do that per se. You do that, then it's all on you, literally and figuratively. But in generally speaking, I would agree in such a case that the ends justify the means, or vice versa. The means justify the ends, and it just goes on like that. Bottom line is, you take rational steps in a material world. In general, the most practical thing would be hiring a PI, and then you have like confirmation, material confirmation of what you already know. You see that? All of that put together automatically gives away that, hey, it's like near guaranteed, hypothetically guaranteed that that is indeed the case. So you go to work in the same manner or fashion. You have, for example, you're working with two Solomonic pinnacles, you have three altars of spirits, etc. You can each measure their potency and their energy as in, how are you doing? Let's see. How strong are you on a scale of 0 to 10? Hmm. How are things currently going? Okay. And now you, and now you, and now you, and now you. Hmm. Okay, good. And there you go. That's how easy it is. For me, I can easily measure anything, any magical working of mine, anything at any given moment, I can measure it. And with all the aforementioned knowledge I have, in terms of an outlined example or given as such, then then yeah, I know that, like in my case, guaranteed that it is correct. At the very least, hypothetically, 99.99999% guarantee. And yeah, that's one of the ways I work. So now you know in any case, that's how to measure stuff.